Next up is Tottenham versus Man United. I believe the Tottenham are yet to beat Man United at the new White Hart Lane.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, I think in the last 16 games that they've played, have Tottenham won?
I know they beat United, I think when Mourinho was manager. I actually don't know, I can't say confidently, but I think that Spurs' new look, Maddison played really well against Brentford. If United concede as many chances they did against Wolves as they do Tottenham, I think they could get beaten quite badly. So I think Erik ten Hag will need to address something with their defensive, their vulnerability. I think Spurs also looked very vulnerable against Brentford. There were large moments against Brentford where Brentford could have scored more than 2 goals.
Yeah.
I think there'll be goals in this one. I think that both teams, their attacks, they'll go all out for the win. Even though I think last season United weren't great away from home.
No, and in fact they were terrible against top 9 teams. They got 1 point out of 24.
So I don't know if Erik ten Hag will be able to change that dramatically this season. I'll go with a 2-2 draw.
Yeah. 2-2.
I'm gonna start taking my thing off the desk because I picked a 2-2 draw. Both teams look vulnerable defensively,
And both teams have attacking prowess, you know. So
well, let's see. But I think there's lots of goals in this one, 2-2. Next up, we have Man City versus Newcastle.
What a way to end the weekend, the Saturday.
Yeah, I think, for me, I look at Newcastle, 5-1 they won on the weekend against what we thought was going to be a competing Aston Villa team. That's a big marker to lay down. Unfortunately for Newcastle, they may be celebrating that, but they're going to Etihad, where they are 2-16 losses, 2 draws, 16 losses in the last 18 games. So it hasn't been a happy hunting ground for them. That said, Man City played in the Super Cup
last night.
Yeah, which is Wednesday, for those watching this tomorrow or Saturday. And I just don't know how fresh they're going to be. And also you got De Bruyne, who's out for a long time. That's a big loss for them. I just fancy Newcastle to come in here and sneak a point. I've got it 2-2. I think Man City drop its first points of the season on Saturday.
I think there's a good chance it's 2-2 for a lot of the match, but Man City clutched it in the end. As much as I'd like Newcastle to get a point there, I'd like Newcastle to win actually, but I think Man City are going to win 3-2.
Okay. Well,
I think Newcastle looked I think last week we said that 3-1 when Ollie predicted would have been flattering Newcastle a bit, but I think they were better they were insane. The way that we thought that Aston Villa would actually be able to put up a fight, but after it was 1-1, I think the second half Newcastle was completely dominated. Isak was unplayable. I think the midfield, they completely dominated.
How many goals did Isak get?
He got 2.
Yeah.
But
not a bad bet for Golden Boot, that guy, if he stays healthy.
I think he'll be in the top 3. I think Haaland just this season I think Haaland's just too inevitable when he plays.
That guy's just...
I think, though, this is a real test for Newcastle season. If they can get a point at the Etihad, that's they're already signaling the season
the title.
Yeah, well, maybe not the title, maybe late stage Champions League or something like that. But
if you're Newcastle, this is the game you want to play after playing on a Wednesday night.
This is a real test.
Yeah.
I just think City, even when they play midweek, their squad is so big that even though they've lost De Bruyne, they still have players that can come in and do a job. I think even though De Bruyne is injured, they still have, Foden can come in and play a full game instead of coming in off the bench, as an example.
Yeah.
I think even the youngsters they have now, Cole Palmer is really good. He's more than capable of being a first-team player. I think City will win this. I'm going to go 3-1 to City.
Wow.
All right.
Next up, we have Villa versus the Toffees.
It doesn't inspire much either.
Well, I'm interested to watch this from an Aston Villa point of view because I believe that, you know, they've got a good manager, they've got some good signings. They should be. How much? I'm not going to read too much into the 5-1 against Newcastle. Newcastle was just majestic on the day.
Yeah.
And that is a beating. But I believe that Villa bounced back in this game, and I've got this one 2-1 Villa.
I'm going to go 1-0 Villa.
I think Everton are just too weak. I think on paper Villa are just way better, man for man. Even though they played really badly against Newcastle, I think for the first half an hour until Tyrone Mings got injured, they were actually in the game, they were getting chances. If they can settle against Everton early, I think it'll be 2-0 Aston Villa.
Yeah. And then we've got a London derby, West Ham, Chelsea to round out Sunday. I see another draw here. I see 1-1. Chelsea were impressive at times against Liverpool, but 1-1 for me on West Ham versus Chelsea.
I like Chelsea to still win.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go 1-0. I still think it's going to be a low-scoring game. 1-0 to Chelsea, though.
I think if Chelsea's new players play, if Caicedo plays, if Lavia plays, I think there'll be a lot more dominance in midfield. I think against Liverpool, they actually were, I don't know if it was just Liverpool making them look better, but for a large portion of the game, I would say for 60 minutes of that game, Liverpool under a lot of pressure. I think on the counter-attack, when they were countering against Liverpool, they were very dangerous.
Are you going to play counter football against West Ham?
No, but I think that even with the ball, Reece James played really well. He was getting into space. Ben Chilwell played really well.
Is he injured?
Apparently it was just fatigue.
Okay.
So he should be fine. They're also a serious threat, like offset pieces now, with like how big their team is. I don't really see West Ham getting anything from this. Even though Chelsea are playing away from home, I think it's going to be 1-0 Chelsea.
Okay, so you guys are in agreement. And then to wrap it up, we've got another London derby, Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. Let's start with you, Moneyball.
I backed Crystal Palace last week, but I think Arsenal are just too good. I think that if Palace... I think the only way Palace really get anything from this is if they just absorb Arsenal for like 70 minutes of the game and then take their one or two opportunities that they get. I think Arsenal will just overpower them. I think they'll play through them, and I think if Martinelli and Saka play like they did and Odegaard play like they did against Forest, I think it could be quite messy for Palace. I think I'm going to go...
Not Lionel Messi, though.
No, definitely not. I'm thinking... I think Palace will get a goal. I'm going to go... I'll go 2-1 Arsenal.
That's really looked into the crystal ball.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm trying to go through all the possibilities.
Yeah. Well, that's what we pay for.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Arsenal as well. Yeah, again, Crystal Palace playing at home. I don't think they're going to... I think they're going to exactly leak goals, but I just think Arsenal are really, really strong outfit. And I think it'll be a comfortable 2-1.
Yeah, I think that Arsenal are going to play a bit better than they did last weekend. They didn't play bad last weekend, but maybe opening up the home crowd. I think they're going to play better in this game, and I think that they're going to win it away 3-1. So there you have it. Same prizes up for grabs this weekend as well.
What, $5,000 for the...
$5,000 for the
Results.
What if you get 7 right?
Man, you got 7 right. Unfortunately. But there was somebody that won last week on the overall.
Yeah. Well done to them.
Yeah,
well done.
$50,000 for 10 correct scores. You'll have to make the Luton's pick, and then it'll play out at some stage in the near future.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thanks for coming in. Always a pleasure, and good luck this week with every bet you make. And we'll chat you next week.
Cool.
Thanks.
Cool.